Hi, welcome back to the episode 2 of Fanboy Philly Reviews. Today we're looking at the movie Flash, starring Ezra Miller and Michael Keaton. When I first heard that Michael Keaton was returning to the role of Batman, oh my god, I was excited. He was the big screen Batman from my generation. And I have always been a Batman fan, huge Batman fan. Oh, and when I saw it was streaming, man, I started debating with myself whether I wanted to see it or not because I was looking forward to seeing him as Batman again, but at the same time, I didn't want to be disappointed to see a bad comeback in a DC movie. But in the end, I'm glad that I went. I'm glad that I turned it on and watched it. It was actually a good movie. Um, yeah, the movie had its ups and downs artistically, as all movies do. That's to be expected. The movie's feel had a mixture of the storytelling that all DC movies have, mixed with the fun feel that a Marvel movie has. And for the Flash, because of the way that Barry's character is younger and the way that his character is in the comic books, the TV show, and in the movie, the way that it's always played, with the way that Barry Allen is, it works for the Flash. It doesn't necessarily work for every DC character. Definitely not Superman or Batman, because you got the seriousness of Superman, the dark side of Batman. For the Flash, it definitely works. No other character. They do it for Shazam, or as I like to call him, Captain Marvel, because I grew up when he was still called Captain Marvel. Because it was, I remember I don't remember if he was still with Wiz Comics or if they were Wiz Comics had already broken apart at that time. I don't know when that switch happened. I grew up late 70s, early 80s. Um, but anyway, back to the Flash. Um, with the yeah, it didn't fit for Shazam because yes, Billy Batson is a kid, but Shazam is not. The way I remember it being played in the comic books when I was a kid, when he made that switch, yes, he was still Billy Batson to a point, but he didn't act like a kid when he was Shazam or Captain Marvel. I will still call him Captain Marvel today, even though there is Captain Marvel from the Marvel Studios, despite the lawsuit. Um, in the film, the time traveling scenes to me is very cheesy. Um, the time traveling scenes for Quicksilver in the Marvel movies, I thought was done a whole lot better because in the Flash movies, I saw a lot of this. Which for me, that's I can't come up with a better way for them to do it. But to me, it was just very cheesy. Even for a comic book movie, it was super cheesy. Um, back when they were or when they made that switch to the other dimension or the other timeline, after he screwed the timeline, went into the alternate reality, um, and ran into the other side of himself. At first, I was a little annoyed with the other character of the flat of Barry, where he was. Then I realized the main reason for that was they were doing it was a character choice to separate that character from the other character, and also it showed especially with the line where Barry says, now I know what the others see when they see me. It was definitely a character build and a character arc where Barry is getting older and he's been through a whole lot more than he was at this point, especially where he. I mean, most people, if you've. I don't think I'm giving away any spoilers. If I am, I'm sorry, but the story is based on the Flashpoint paradox, where he goes back and saves his mother. And so the younger Barry has not had the misfortune of losing his mother and father going to prison. So he hasn't led the life that older Barry has faced. So Barry realizes that the younger version of Barry is carefree and that others have viewed him the same way, even though his life was so much different than his own. And so there was the laughter from that, even though it was annoying, it was a character build to show a difference in one Barry to another, which made sense once I thought about it. Um, and along with the '89 Batman, Michael Keaton coming back. That wasn't the only thing that came back from 1989, because you also had Wayne Manor from '89, the Batmobile from '89, even the kitchen from Wayne Manor. Everything made a reappearance from '89. The one thing that I didn't get was when Barry asked Bruce Wayne, "Why are you so much older than the Bruce Wayne from my era?" And he explained to him by taking the two strands of spaghetti and saying, everybody misinterprets the time paradox. Everybody thinks that the time changes from the moment that you hit, but it doesn't. It's on an axis, and everything changes not at that point, but it has a different. It's not just the ending and the middle that change, but it goes backwards in the change too. Why would it cause him to be older and look different? That I don't know much about science. I don't know much about history. I'm not going to go into the song, so don't worry about that. But I don't understand how that could have affected a person's age and look by changing the things on the axis. I don't get it. I mean, I can see how it would change some stuff, but not the time a person was born. So that was something that was a little screwy for me. Um, and I like to watch a lot of movies with subtitles on, and I had subtitles on for this. And one thing I noticed was every time that Michael Keaton spoke, it didn't say Bruce Wayne in the subtitles for his lines. It didn't say Batman. It said older Batman, which I thought was interesting. Um, and also in the parallel universe, there's a running gag in some of the scenes with alternate Barry and his friends. In their timeline, Marty McFly was never changed from Eric Stoltz to Michael J. Fox. And so the original Barry is arguing with well, he's not really arguing, but he's going back and forth with the other dimensional people that it's Michael J. Fox and not Eric Stoltz. And one of the guys goes, "Oh, yeah? Then explain Marty McFly." And he pulls up his leg to show a tattoo, and he goes, "Marty McFly, right here. This is your calf, not your thigh." So, a little bit of a joke that I don't know if many people caught, but it's just a small sight gag that I thought I laughed when they did this. but just the fact that they did a Marty McFly on the guy's calf. Um, in the fight scenes with the Flash, where he was going in and fighting people in slow motion. Well, they showed it as slow motion, but it was when he was fighting him real fast. It looked like something out of a video game. I've played the Batman fighting games before on PlayStation, and a lot of the punches and kicks and stuff like that seem like video game simulation, which doesn't hurt the movie. It's just something I noticed. And another thing about the alternate Barry was I noticed early on when they introduced him, he had these headphones on that had this part here was yellow. I mean, and I noticed that. I'm like, those are very yellow. They almost look like the Flash. And then when he made a um, makeshift Flash outfit, I noticed that he put those on outside the outside of his Flash costume that completed the look, which I thought was really cool. Little subtle things that they did throughout this movie that some catch, some don't, and I thought they were very creative that way. Um, Overall, I thought it was a really, really good movie. At first, with it being mainly an Ezra Miller film, and he's not really done much. He did a great performance in a movie that I watched with one of my sons. One of my sons is very, very big on watching new and different styles of films and independent films. Small movie that I've heard of but never watched before, but I watched it with my sons. Ezra Miller was in a movie called Perks of Being a Wallflower. Ezra Miller was brilliant in that. But I didn't know, and I'd seen him in a couple other movies, but I wasn't sure about Ezra Miller carrying a film. But even playing as two characters, I thought he did a really good job in this. But one of my favorite parts in this movie, and I wasn't really expecting, I knew they were bringing back a couple of the old Batmans. And I hope this isn't a spoiler or anything, but there's a scene where he keeps running through what's it called? The Speed Force, where they're trying to fix things over and over again. He gets stuck in it. They pay a tribute to just about everybody who has played Superman before, which I thought was very, very special. Not only am I a huge Batman fan, I'm also a very huge Christopher Reeve as Superman fan. One of the very first Superman, or one of the very first movies I ever saw in the theater. It was either one or two. The first two movies I ever saw in the theater, I don't remember which was which. The Rescuers and Superman, the motion, or Superman the movie. Um, but to me, it doesn't matter who plays Superman. Christopher Reeve, to me, will always be Superman. And the way that they paid tribute to all these actors who have played Superman, I thought was very, very special as a tribute. Um, Even some that only played him for a minute. But if you haven't seen the movie and are on the fence about it, watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. I know I did. Um, Especially if you're into superhero movies, comic book movies. Um, it's got a little bit of everything in it. Um, so give it a shot. And if you like the video, subscribe, hit the like button, um, share me on Facebook, let your friends know, help get me noticed. I don't know what the next one I'm going to do is, but I'm going to put another one up soon. Don't know when, but I'm gonna start looking through all of the streaming networks and find something either old or new. And I'm looking at this not just being a review, but also doing it as a review in retrospective. Because I can't really look at doing all of the older films as reviews. It's going to be more of a retrospective where I look back on the films, especially since I'm giving it as my memories of why I like the film so much. So join me next time. Like I said, I don't know when I'm doing it or what I'm doing it on, but hit the follow button. Well, hit the notification button. That way, when I have something up, you'll get the notification, and um, we'll see each other again. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for watching.